Okay, now let's talk about setting up the caseload manager for you, for your personal profile, for your desired system. The way that caseload manager works is every person needs to have their own unique login. What that means is that staff, meaning the mediators, the volunteer mediators, case developers, ombuds, assistants, interns, etc., they're all going to log into the back end of the system and they can set up their profile. All right, they can configure their email address, their password, things like that. If you have chosen to also enable meeting rooms for your clients or your visitors, they have a very different login experience. We'll talk about that later, okay? Right now, we're just talking about the staff. So what this looks like, when you log in, you will see something like this. There's a few things I want to point out here. At the top left, you will see display. If you're an admin, this display shows you everything. You are omniscient and omnipotent. You can see everything. If you do not have all access, then the system is probably only displaying what you can see. All right. It is showing your calendar or the cases that you have access to. So just note that if you are seeing a slightly different display than you expect, you might want to check up here to see if that information is filtered. Next, let's talk about actually filtering. So we can do that, what do you know, right here with the filter button. So with this button, we can decide things like what types of cases I want to see. I recommend only displaying your open cases, right? Eventually, you're going to have so many closed cases in here, it's just going to clutter up your screen, slow things down. So we'll click open cases, but if at any point you need to revisit a closed case, then this is how you can come in and change that filter. All right. Next, we can filter by things like the case name, the date that it was open, the date that it was closed, matching text search, referral sources. All of the fields that you have created, those have now become your filter criteria. All right. So you can initially set up these display filters to show the types of cases that you want. Then let's go to this next button over, and here's where you can decide what fields you want to display. So see right now it's showing case ID, case name. You can change this by clicking that select fields list. If there's something that you don't want, you just uncheck it. If there's something that you want to add, then you just check it, okay? This is also how you decide what information you are exporting. So whatever I see here, in other words, whatever I have filtered and whatever fields I have selected to display, if I click this next button that says export, then that is going to export to my computer whatever fields I have filtered for and whatever fields I have selected. Okay, so it is that select fields button is changing these fields on your screen that are being displayed, and it's also changing what fields you can export. All right, there are a couple of other things here that we can do to set up your initial profile. And note that the changes that we are making right now are login specific. So if John at mediate.com logs in and he makes all of these changes, it won't affect Geeta at mediate.com, right? Geeta's login will be specific to her. So John can set it up for his own login, Geeta can set it up for her own login, and it will remember that. Okay. If you have access, you probably also want to come into general settings and just review those general settings in terms of how you are getting email alerts, what types of reminders you're getting. Maybe you want to set up your company name or your ombuds or your office name, how often you are billed, what your minimum time income, all of that fun stuff that's managed here in general settings. And we have one more, okay? So we went from the very small detail field to the larger general settings. Now we're going even bigger to your specific profile. To do that, I come into users, manage staff, and this is going to show me all of the staff if I have that access, okay? If I don't have that access, guess what? I don't get to see them. I will click on my name. From there, I can make whatever changes I need to, okay? So if I need to manage a specific person, then I'm going to click on their name under manage users. Note here, we have a couple of different options under users. We have staff. Again, those are the the back-end administrative people who get to see the inside workings of the case. That's typically your volunteer mediators, your ombuds, your assistants, any interns who come to work in your office. We will probably give them some type of a staff access. Persons, that's everyone that that is bringing the case to you. So that might be student, faculty, claimant, respondent, party one, party two, your visitors, your clients, attorneys, something like that. Those are all going to be persons. And we can set up an access for them if you want them to have their own portal, right? Their own meeting room. But right now, just to manage yourself and your profile, I want you to click on this top one that says manage staff. Okay. Chances are you want to be able to log in. So we want to keep you as active. When someone leaves an office, I don't want to delete them because I still want all of the history of what cases they've worked on. Don't delete them. Instead, let's click on this button that says inactive. That means that they can no longer be assigned to a case. They won't show up in lists for things like assigning a mediation to them, but they will still be in the system in case we need to see a history of what they've done. All right. But for now, we're going to click active so that this person can log in. User type. I'm assuming that we have already set up all of this stuff over here under settings. Okay, so under master settings and under access levels, we've already created all of these lists. So if you need to edit those, hop back to settings. For the moment, let's say user type is a mediator. First name, John, last name, Wick. Obviously, email would be johnwickmediator@mailinator.com. Organization, address, etc., phone type, and additional relationships. That's pretty important. Okay. If you need to make any changes, you can do that here. We can hit submit. If the person, let's say you're an admin and the person cannot remember their password, then just click this button, send mail, and that's going to send them a note to say, hey, here's another link so that you can reset your password. Okay. So just a quick review of what we have talked about so far. We talked about clicking filter and select fields in order to be very case specific. Okay. We also talked about if you have access, come in here to general settings, and then this will set up office specific rules, such as here's the name of the office, or here's if we want to be billed in 5-minute increments or 15-minute increments. And before you go, don't forget to come into your staff account and check things like your phone number, your email address, and any other configurations that you need to. Okay. As you begin working in the system, this staff account is going to grow and you will start seeing additional relationships in there. All righty.